What up, YouTube? What up, YouTube? It's your boy, the author. Right back at that ass again. Here's another one. I just want to make this brief video, man. This is going to be entitled Part 2 of The Black Woman Is Not God, man. I looked at my old, I just happened to come across this brother made a comment on my first video. The Black Woman Is Not God. I made this video in April, early April. And I was thinking about making a video about this topic anyway, but I just happened to come across that video. It's kind of ironic how things happen. He made a comment on my video, and I've forgot that I made this video that already spoke about what I'm about to speak about now. And you know, it was funny, man. I made this back in April, and I sometimes make myself laugh, man. But it was a cool video. But I want to expound on that point, man. In my first video, The Black Woman Is Not God, I talked about how I don't believe the black woman is God. Like a lot of these, these quote unquote, what do you call them? The new black revolutionaries of today. Always talking about the black woman is God and all that nonsense. All right, so I use an example about this brother who he worked where I worked at his company that I worked for, and he used to take me home, because he pretty much lives. We live in the same area. I'm trying to save money right now, so I'm not trying to invest in a vehicle. I'm trying to invest in a home. Plus, I just live up the street, so I'll just go ahead and take a Uber, or sometimes I'll bike it, man. Before he was picking me up, I would, ride my 10 speed just to get my exercise. Yeah, he decided to pick me up. He's like, yeah, man, you don't have to do that. I'll take you. I'll live around the way. So he eventually lost his vehicle. Well, actually, I think it was his mother's vehicle or something like that. She didn't make the payments on it, so he lost that. But to make a long story short, so one night we were coming back from work. His quote unquote fiance picked him up, and I was talking about now in my first video, The Black Woman Is Not God, how when I was sitting in the back, she was very disrespectful. Me and him usually unwinded after work. We talked about the calls that we took, because we work in the call center. So we talked about the calls that we took and the different type of customers, and how silly the customers are, and our good calls and our bad calls. Any job, man. You work in construction, you get off of work. After work, you want to have a beer, and just relax and unwind, and that's what we used to do. You work as a plumber. You work in installing TV. You work in a corporate office. We all like to go, especially guys, whatever color. You like to go out to the bar and sit there and drink, or pull over to the side and drink and just talk and unwind. So we were doing like we always did, man. Sit there and talk. And then sometimes we're guys, so sometimes a fuck or a shit may fly from my mouth because I'm a guy, and she wants to start bullshit. Talking about, well, one thing I don't allow is cursing in my car. I'm like, I know that's bullshit, because you're with a guy who curses. But she just wanted to say something to me, because I think black women at this point can pick up on the fact that I'm not the typical black guy. Because when I come around them, certain black guys who come around black women, they have that, where they have to change their demeanor and show them respect. And I don't do that for obvious reasons, because I know the truth. I preach the truth, that they are nothing. They're not special, and they're not our God, even though some of them think that they are and pretend to be. But I won't, I won't acknowledge them as that, and I never do. But to make a long story short, man, she was just talking crap, and so I just pretty much said that I wouldn't take another ride from him with her being in the car. I refuse to be treated like that. And he called me over. Even before that, I think he called me over one time. I think the first time I met her, he wanted me to help him take a futon off of their patio when I helped him take that downstairs. And she wouldn't even come out the room and acknowledge me. She stayed on the phone the whole time. When she got off the phone, she still really wouldn't come out and say anything. So I knew from that point on that the broad wasn't, wrapped too tight. And she worked. She was a teacher at the school. She's a teacher at the school. So, and sometimes those educated black females are the most disrespectful. They're just disrespectful in a more subtle type of way, which can be even more annoying. But so the car incident happened after I helped them move that futon off of the patio. So but to give you an update, man, that was about what? May, June, July, August, September, October, November. That was about 6 months ago. May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Okay, so that last video was based in April, and I think that's when that incident took place. So now it's November, man, and to catch you guys up, man, the same incident that I used to pretty much support my point that the black woman is not God. I can use the same characters in my part two. So if you remember when I was talking about my boy that I used to work with and the incident with his female, well, now guess what? So I was telling him too. Now to give you some background info, I told him the whole time. I said, "Hey, look, man, you know, I can't be disrespected like that. I know you like her," and I told him in April, I don't really dig her. I think she's selfish and she's disrespectful. And he was telling me, and me and him used to go to the bar frequently. He used to say, I can change her, yada, 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 yada. So she was trying to get a house, purchase a house, and he was helping her with that house to pay the bills and things of that nature. And he planned on moving in with her because they were initially, when I helped them move that futon, they were in like a one bedroom, so they were in a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. So she was trying to get this house. So townhome with 3 rooms and 2.5 bathrooms, something, an upstairs and a downstairs, a garage and everything like that. So I said, hey, look, man, if you happen to move with her, make sure that your name is on a lease because I don't, or on the deed because I don't really trust her. Because he was at the time, teachers don't work during the summer. Because I was a teacher, so I thought that I can appeal to her from teacher to teacher, but she didn't respect me. And that's what I mentioned in my first video about black women thinking that all black men are their children, regardless of how old we are, even if we are older than them. So, to get to my point, she was going to apply for this home, and I said, "Hey, man, you're going." And he was proud too because he was helping her, and he was making more than she was actually because North Carolina teachers don't make shit. Just to keep it real, I think when I started, I made like 33,000, and I was with my masters. They call it 37, but if you don't count the summer months, it'll be actually 33. So she's been doing it for 10 years, but still, North Carolina teachers don't make anything. So he was making more than she was making at the time. And she wasn't really bringing in money for the summer months, so he was paying the bills and all that stuff. So to make a long story short, I was telling him when he was proud that, she had got her place because he helped her pay off some of the loans where she could get approved. Because sometimes when you go through the process, they tell you what things you need. If you pass credit, they tell you what things you need to do in order to qualify for the home. And I was telling him, well, look, man, because he said his credit was messed up due to his, some stuff that his father did. I said, put your name on the deed, man, if you can, because I don't trust this female. He was like, well, he told me I don't need to do that, man, because, her father would never allow her to mistreat me and disrespect me and throw me out. I know her mother. I'm in good with her mother. I'm in good with her father. They would never allow her to do that. They love me. So, 6 months. So we're in November. Just a few days ago, I'm at work. I get this number pops up that I don't have in my phone. So I see this number pop up. I'm at work. I'm on break. I'm headed back to training class for this other business that I'm going to be going to that's within the company. So I'm at work. Number pops up. I usually don't answer numbers if I don't see a name because everyone I talk to, I have a name saved in my phone. So I just happened to say, okay, I'll just answer it. So I answered it. It's my boy I haven't heard from him in months. We haven't talked in months because he ended up quitting, so he doesn't work at the same company I work at this point in time. But he called and said, "Hey man, what are you doing?" It's just a random call about four something in the afternoon. 4 in the afternoon. I said, "Well, I'm at work." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm at work. I'm about to get off. What's going on?" He said, "Well, bro, I'm in trouble." I said, "What you mean you're in trouble?" He says, "Well, they put a boot on my car." And I'm like, "Well, why did they put a boot in your car?" He was like, "Well, because he's going to UNCC now, so he stopped working full time. He's going to UNCC, and so he doesn't make the money that he used to make. He's a vet as well, an Air Force vet. So he's going off of the GI program, but he doesn't make the money that he used to make, obviously, because he's just pretty much on the getting paid monthly through the VA." So he says, "Well, I couldn't afford to park in the parking garage, so I parked in one of the apartment complexes across the street." Now he doesn't live there, obviously, um, but he parked there and they put a boot on the car. He said they're about to tow it, but I don't want them to tow it because if they tow it, I'm gonna pay twice as much, and that's ridiculous. And he said, "I've called my mom, I've called my sister, nobody has the money. I just wanted to check and see what was up with you." I said, "Well, and I had just got paid. Usually I'm not big at shelling out money, but I just got paid." I said, "All right, man, He's like, "Well, can you, do it over the phone?" So I tried to do it over the phone with my card. The guy wouldn't speak to me, so I had to show up. So after I got off work, I showed up. I got off work. I said, "Well, wait till I get off work. I'll see what I can do, man." So I get off work an hour later, uh, get the lift, pull up to the actual truck, the tow truck, and there he is standing there, man. He looks distraught. He looks like he probably lost a little bit of weight. Usually he keep his hair cut. His hair wasn't cut. And I saw him standing next to the tow truck guy. I saw the boot on his vehicle, and I said, "What's up, man?" "Nothing much." And he's like, I said, "Well, how much do you need?" And he says, "I need $75." I said, "Okay, let me go to the ATM." So I come back, I give him the money. They take the boot off. So we're driving. I bring him back a beer because he looked like he needed one, and I was off work, so that's usually what I do. And he was like, "Man, I'm so mad." He was distraught, man. He was real upset. He was like, "Man," and now the car. He tells me, he said, "Man, the car isn't even mine, bro. It's her father's." Now this is the female who was disrespecting me in the back of the car, his fiance, right? He said, the car is not mine. It's her father's." And I called to let her know that a boot had been placed on it. And he says that she's telling me that I have to move out. She's kicking me out. Now, this is that same female where he said he can change, right? I told you about in April. He says he can change her, black female with the weave, with all the braid. I hate that shit still. That braided weave that they keep with the bun on top of their head, with the extensions. I hate that shit. She had that, halfway light skinned, so obviously she thinks she's more than what she. I shouldn't say that because not all light skinned girls are like that. You got some light skinned girls that are very sweet, but she's just a typical, man. And he was telling me, "Man, I'm so upset, man. She's been putting me through hell ever since I stopped working and I started going to school. He's trying to get his degree. She's been treating me bad. It's gotten to the point where I don't even want to be with her no more anymore. I don't want to sleep with her anymore. I just go to my room, close my door, and and he said he's doing pretty good in school. He says he has 3 A's and a B, but he said ever since that he quit and he started going to school, she's been picking fights with him. She didn't even want him to move because he was telling me even after he quit around June of this year. Even right after he quit, he told me things were changing. He was saying how, things were changing a little bit with the relationship. And I think I saw him in September. He looked like he was close to tears then. And he was like, man, I can't, I just told her I just want to stay until December. And then after December, I'm going to live on campus and I'm going to have my own place. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. And then so I just see him in November. He was distraught, man. He was like, and since the car was booted, she told him that he has to leave. So she pretty much told him that he has to get his shit and get out. I said, man, I told you to try to put your name on the lease. He said, man, he said I didn't want to call you, man, because he said I was embarrassed to call you because he said you told me. He's like, but I called my mother for when the guy first put the boot on and he begged the guy not to tow the vehicle. He said he called his mother. She didn't have anything. Called his sister. She had $20. Called his father, the one who messed up his credit. He didn't have. He's in Florida. He wouldn't give him anything. And then he called me, and me and him ain't talked in months. And that's the point I was making in the video I made with the Browder kid, man. When I was talking about Khalid Browder, how I compare his situation in terms of his situation in terms of him having to raise money so he can get bail. How whenever we need to raise money for each other, we're very bad at that. He called 3 or 4 people, man, and nobody had the money. Nobody would, it seemed like he could have called 3 or 4 people and collected $20 a piece and been straight. Not the case. And this is a good guy, man. He's a military veteran, an Air Force veteran, and pretty much for the most part, man, he worked where I worked, and pretty much he was very good at his job, but he's trying to better himself, in terms of, getting himself, educated, which I can understand. I went to school myself. Like I told him, I said, the jobs that are out here today, just because you have an education, that doesn't mean that you're going to get a job that pretty much can pay you what you deserve. Because I'm in that situation right now. I said, it doesn't matter what major you have. He was like, nah, man, I'm going to go back to school. But and then that. Here's the thing, man. Not to make a long story short, but I think what happened was she ended up, he went back and he packed all of his stuff. I just told him to try to appeal to the father, and maybe that might work in terms of her letting him stay at least till December. Because he said, hey, man, I pretty much kept her going for those, for the summer months, and I've always given her a piece of my check. Why can't she look out for me for 2 or 3 months while I'm trying to get on my feet? And this needs to be said, man. And I think he ended up going back and he packed all this stuff and put it in the car, and then he went to go see her father. And her father pretty much told him, I think he could probably, stay for the weekend, but after that he was gonna have to find something to do. But here's the thing, man. He was worried about, being homeless and things of that nature. But this has to be said, brothers. I mean, not every brother who's telling you about your fiance or your wife is quote unquote hating on you or trying to get her. Now, in some cases, yeah, that may be the case, but use your judgment, man. I'm not to say that as soon as I told him that I thought that she wasn't worth a shit, it's not like he should have just dropped everything and moved out as soon as I said what I said. But be open-minded, be insightful. Be more intuitive. Be more in tune to what's going on, man. Play devil's advocate. What if he's right? Try to get your name on a loan, man. Maybe take some pieces of advice because I knew it. When the first time I saw that chick, I knew she was one of those ones who would put him out in the street. And they talking about, well, why black men can't accomplish and do this and do that. Well, you can't go forward in the world if you first can't take over your community. You can't even, the average black man can't even stay in a household. The average brother out here might be about 3 or 4 words from the door, 3 or 4 words from the street. And that's what happened to bruh. The same dude where he picked when the same dude where his fiance picked us up that night in April is and the same one I told him, the same one that was being rude to me in that car in April. That's the same people, those two. That's the same girl that kicked him out, that has him homeless right now. 6 months later, after the incident. And I don't take pride in being right, man, but at the same time, I'd much rather him if he could have saw that coming, he could have protected himself. That new place, man, put yourself on a lease. Because he said later on they wouldn't allow him. Okay, man, well, if they won't, put yourself in a position, man, where to say, hey, look, you know it's about to come down to a close, especially, because a lot of times, too, because probably what happened was, he wasn't making the money that he was making before. And that's the thing, too, man. I mean, if you drop your job or something like that, especially if you want a black female, all hell's going to break loose, bro. They really are in tune to a black. They will call you all types of names because you couldn't keep your job. They don't care if you was right or wrong or whatever. So, and he decided to voluntarily give his up because he was unhappy. He wanted to go to school full time. But you can argue that maybe she was jealous that he was trying to get his degree. But a lot of times too, man, if you're not making that money that you was making before, and you at home all the time and she's working, now, I'm not saying any woman wouldn't get kind of tired of things of that nature, but he was trying to rest up for school. Because the first time when he tried to go to school when he was 19, he partied too much, and this is his second chance. But like he's in his 30s now, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But sisters aren't going to support you, brothers, for the most part. Especially if you're trying to gain education and things of that nature. A lot of them are not going to have your back, and it's all about her right now. She has this new house; it's in her name. And like he said, well, I don't know why she won't work with me. It's not like I'm putting her out. She has twice as much room as before. Because it looked like to me they only had like a one bedroom. Might have been 2, but it looked like a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Now she has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. It's a 2-story house, a townhome, but still home ownership all the same. She has a mortgage, so the property is in her name. Without his name, now she has her garage. So I knew once she had that in that area that she was going to start showing her ass. I knew it. But at the same time, man, I couldn't really tell bro, hey man, look, you need to, do this or do that, because, he's not trying to hear that. Because he was telling me he could change her and, he can mold her and she always has his back, and anytime he calls on her, she'll come. And it was a few times when his car first got repoed, she did come. But sometimes don't get fooled with that, bro, thinking that you're in a situation where you can totally trust this chick. Because a lot of times, too, these chicks have agendas. And it's all about the math, man, especially with black females. She as soon as that money went down, she do not want you at home chilling for no amount of time. And they don't believe in, a lot of them don't believe in reciprocating. So the way she looks at it, okay, you're not making any money, you're not working full time, you don't have the money that you used to have, so I'm taking care of you. We're not a partnership. But she doesn't remember when he paid all the bills for the summer part of that year. She don't give a shit about that. She don't care about some of the bills he paid off in order for her to get her home. She don't care about that shit. She don't care about how he practically moved all of her shit single-handedly by himself until some of her relatives came to help him out toward the very end. And he said he was sore for 3 days having to move all her shit. She don't care about that shit. She just thinking about what she's doing there and now. Because if she had thought back and said, okay, man, well, look, you held me down. Because I think the whole time he was kind of living with her, which is also a mistake. A lot of brothers, I'd rather be by myself in a one-room shack than with an ungrateful black bitch. I tell you that. I rather, because it's more stable. Because you don't know what's going to happen with that, man. I know, at least in this situation, as long as I have the money, I'm good. I don't got to hear nobody's mouth, nothing. With them, that's an unstable environment, man. It's like an explosive situation. And as soon as you decide to do something different, you thinking she gonna hold you down like you held her down. No haps. Because and because her father was good enough to let him use his vehicle so he can go to school. And I think she had hatred about that. So that's when it got repoed, when she thought it was gonna get repoed, she said, "Yeah, man, you out." She sent him a text and told him when he get back to pack all his shit. This when he was arguing with the guy, trying not to get the vehicle repoed. And even though the vehicle didn't get repoed, he still had to pack his shit. Once he left my house, he still had to go back and pack his shit up and get out of there, man. So, and I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not females from other races that won't do you dirty like this. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that's more expected. Okay, in this situation where it's a situation where, hey, I helped you out, you helped me out. We're the same people. You should be trying to bear with me, not against me. But they don't look at it like that. Society has told them that they're black women, they're up here, you're down here. And the more resources they have, it solidifies their quote unquote position. That's why moving in with a chick, especially when it's their house, because I've been there. I've moved in with females and things of that nature. But I was fortunate enough to be in a situation where even if they told me to leave and they had a nicer place than I had, I always had a place to go to. They couldn't put me out in the street. I always had my own place. But some of these brothers don't have their own place. So if the female puts them out, they may have to go to a homeless shelter. Most of these females don't care about that. That's why you have so many homeless black men out here now. And I'm not saying black man shouldn't be held accountable for his own actions, but here's the thing: if you know he's down, if he's already told you, okay, well, hey, look, if you give me this amount of time, like I gave you, then I'll be out of here. I would greatly appreciate that. She don't look at that like that. She's having her housewarming party, I believe, is gonna be this week. So she wants his black ass out of there before all his guests come. She's that type of chick, man. She's having her housewarming party. Her house looks all nice now, brand new, just built townhome that she is the owner. She has the mortgage, so she's the primary on the deed. Okay, no more rent. Now she's a homeowner. The place has just been built. She has her 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, pretty much all to herself now. Now that she's thrown out her fiance, and now she's having her home warming party. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons why she kicked him out so fast. He said he thinks that she was looking for an excuse, because she is having that home warming party, and him being there would be a stain on that, especially since he's made it clear that he doesn't want to sleep with her anymore. He says she's gaining weight by the day. And he just wanted enough time to be able to make a transition, because I guess when January comes up, that'll be the spring semester. And if he likes, he can go ahead and try to live on campus. She knows what timetable he's dealing with, but she don't give a shit about that. She has her own timetable for her homewarming party. And this is the same chick that was in the car who was disrespectful to me when he called her to pick him up, and then he asked her if I could ride along when she was talking to him all that crap about, oh well, I don't allow cursing in my car, and you should put on your seatbelt and all that bullshit. That chick, the same chick, just threw him out 2 days ago. So I mean, the black woman is not God, man. She's far from that. She has a lot of work to do. She needs to focus on trying to be a human being. Before you could even get to the gods, you haven't even perfected this human being thing yet. You still Leatherface, taking hair from other groups and attaching it to your head. You're still on that Leatherface shit. So you have to work on being a human being first, to be an emotional supportive, remembering what was done for you and returning that. That's called being human. You have to do that first before you can call yourself a god. That's just like trying to say, you want to win the gold medal in a 200 meter dash, but you're still crawling as a baby. Get that crawling down. You're gonna have to crawl, and you have to crawl fast. You're gonna have to get that down first before you can consider yourself before you can start. You're gonna have to learn how to crawl, then walk before you can run. Especially before you plan on being the fastest runner in the world or in the country. So, I just want to bring that up there, man. But I think I'll, label this, The Black Woman is Not God Part 2. Man, I just want to catch you up on that. And I thought that would be a perfect title. I didn't know what to name it. At first I was going to name it, Black Women Love to Kick You in the Face when you're down. But, I might make another video about that topic later. Well, I think this fits perfectly to the black woman is not God, man. I mean, when you look at the type of scenario I used on the first one, the black woman is still the same, man. Still, selfish for the most part. Not all sisters, but most of them selfish, entitled, stingy, thoughtless, especially when it comes to the black man. Trying to be bougie, definitely want to be white, and just out of focus, man. But and I hate that happened to that brother, and I would have, like I told him, I said I wish it had worked out better, but I can't lie and say that I didn't see it coming. Because I've dealt with many females in my life. I can see it coming to a point now, man. It's just like, not saying I can't be tricked or anything like that, but for the most part, I can see those type of chicks coming. First of all, if she got a weave and she's lying about her hair, don't trust, no matter how good she makes it sound, only trust half of what she says. Because she's lying to you right in front of your face right there. She's lying to the whole world right there. So never trust everything that comes out of a female's mouth who doesn't even wear her own hair. Definitely looks suspect at that. Everything she says, I'll be looking at her suspect with a raised eyebrow. You know what I'm saying? But this is your boy, the author, signing out. Y'all be safe out there.